Accumulating areas of kind of a wintry mix across North Georgia. This is your view right now in Athens, where you can see the white on the ground. It's been a mix of sleet, freezing rain, and yes, snowfall. It's really dependent on temperatures, though, because off towards some of the metro areas, this right now, some of our roads through metro Atlanta, not quite slick just yet. We've been watching as that colder air, that wedge takes over and very gradually pushes the colder air down towards the southwest. So in locations like Atlanta, our actual air temperatures are hovering right around the freezing point, but road temperatures are still not quite down to the point where we're seeing icy patches. As you go up towards the north of the city and out towards the east of the city, that's where conditions have really deteriorated, really stretching from northeastern Cherokee into Forsyth, out towards the Athens area, and then up towards the South Carolina border. That's where we're currently seeing the biggest impacts and still the most consistent wintry mix associated with this current storm system. Now, we're seeing a mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and even some snowfall across North Georgia. Through the Atlanta metro, still indicating some freezing rain across the perimeter out towards the west into portions of Cobb County, up into far north Cherokee County, and as well as North Fulton County. But notice we've mixed in a little bit of drier air as well. So these showers are not quite as widespread. We'll continue to track these, though, through the morning. Still indicating freezing rain through portions of the metro, although, like I said, in a lot of spots, especially as you get closer to the city, our road temperatures are still not cold enough to sustain widespread icy roads. You may still see some slick spots on sidewalks, bridges, and overpasses. Those are always the first to get icy. Meanwhile, up towards the northwest, where we've seen a mix of sleet, freezing rain, and yes, snowfall, our conditions have already rapidly deteriorated there. Our radar is indicating a few areas of snowfall out towards the Toccoa area as you get closer to that Georgia-South Carolina border, as well as kind of a mix of sleet and snow out towards Athens. As we go throughout the next couple hours, we're going to be watching temperatures very, very closely, because in some spots, this is still coming down as rainfall, including up into portions of the northwestern corner of the state, out towards Chattooga and Floyd counties, out towards Calhoun and Ellijay, which has already picked up on a number of kind of sleet periods. It's this large storm system across the continental U.S. that's leading to a mixture of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and yes, rainfall. It's all kind of centered around this area of low pressure that's up towards our north. And the exact location of this area of low pressure has been what we've been watching very closely for the last couple of days, because up towards the north of it, we've got bitter cold air. Down towards the south, we're actually going to manage to bring in a little bit of milder, kind of warmer air as we go into today, especially through the afternoon hours. That's going to help us transition from some freezing rain to perhaps a little bit of rainfall later this afternoon, but we've got some time and still multiple hours of freezing rain accumulation before that happens. This massive winter storm has led to winter weather advisories, winter storm watches, as well as winter storm warnings that stretch from Oklahoma and Texas all the way through the Midwest and into the Northeast. Here at home, we've still got that ice storm warning in place through Monday morning, and that in those locations, that's where the most significant ice accumulation is expected. A winter weather advisory still in place down towards the south that stretches through portions of Polk, Lamar counties out towards the Macon area as well. In these locations, it's not expected to be quite as impactful. At this point, temperatures there are still above freezing, but there is the possibility that some of that colder air could work its way far enough south to start bringing some of that wintry precipitation down into that winter weather advisory. So not quite in the clear just yet. The biggest impacts associated with this ice storm, this winter storm, are going to be up towards the northeast of the city, where road conditions have already started to deteriorate. Major impacts expected there, potentially because of the weight of the ice on trees and power lines that could lead to additional power outages throughout the next 24 hours, and those could be prolonged depending on how bad the roads get and how quickly crews are able to get out to those power lines. Through the Atlanta metro area, still anticipating moderate impacts as our temperatures continue to drop. Here's how it plays out hour by hour on our forecast track. So as temperatures stay below or near freezing, we'll continue to get this mix of freezing rain, sleet, a little snow here and there through the Atlanta metro up to the north and out towards the east. As we get into this afternoon, so this is lunchtime, noon on our forecast track. Notice temperatures down towards the south start to get a little bit milder out towards the west as well. This is that wedge eroding. So the colder air that's stuck across the Appalachian Mountains that has been pushed down into our neck of the woods, it starts to pull back up towards the northeast. That could allow Atlanta Metro and most spots down towards the south and west of the city to get back up above the freezing point, transitioning our freezing rain back to just rainfall as this line of stronger showers and some isolated embedded thunderstorms roll through. Notice, though, that in this scenario, some of those far northeastern counties do not get warm enough to transition back from freezing rainfall to a cold rain. This cold rain would be very beneficial. Not only would it stop any additional accumulating ice, but it would help to kind of melt away some of the ice that did manage to accumulate. So for those areas that do not warm up enough, that means additional ice accumulation and much bigger impacts there. This line of showers and storms moves through by this afternoon and evening. Behind it, we'll keep a few isolated showers around, but things will likely dry out pretty quickly as we get into Sunday evening and the overnight hours on Sunday. As that main line of showers comes through, it does come with a low end threat for severe weather. So we're talking the possibility of an isolated strong to maybe severe storm later this afternoon, mainly down towards our far southern counties. The primary severe weather threat is going to be further down south into portions of southwest Georgia, southeastern Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle, but we can't rule out an isolated strong to severe storm here. Yes, it's cold now, but true cold Arctic air arrives as we get into the start of this week. That's going to drop our temperatures into tonight and into tomorrow pretty quickly. So overnight lows tonight will get down into the 20s and the teens. That does mean that any locations that still have water on the ground, whether that be ice from the ice accumulation this morning or from the rainfall later this afternoon and evening, it will refreeze as ice and in a lot of spots potentially black ice by early tomorrow morning. So even if conditions start to get a little bit better in your area today, do not let your guard down. It could refreeze overnight and into tomorrow morning if that water just kind of stays on the roads. On top of this, we'll have some breezier winds, which will allow for feels-like temperatures to get down into the teens and the single digits. So we've got a cold weather advisory in place across the vast majority of North Georgia into tonight and early tomorrow morning that goes through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So especially in spots where you lose power, if you know anyone who's perhaps a little bit more vulnerable to a more dangerous cold, you need to be checking in on your neighbors and making sure that anyone who does not have power or does not have heat is able to get through the very cold weather tonight and then again on Tuesday night. I mentioned the winds would be breezy. That is going to be the case. We've already seen sustained winds in some spots up to about 15, 20 miles per hour, and we'll keep a breeze throughout the day today. What that's going to do, in addition to making it feel colder, is it will also kind of push around any of the trees and power lines that are already weighed down by the ice. So that could lead to additional power outages as well as additional trees down. So if you do have plans to be out on the roads later today, which I do not advise, just stay home at this point if you can, you will need to be aware that there could be not only power lines in the road, but some debris as far as trees are concerned as additional trees continue to snap across the area. So I do want to take another look at the radar right now, just to kind of show you what we're working with at this point, because temperatures are so fluid and most of our scattered activity, especially up into portions of metro Atlanta, we're starting to see some of that drier air. So through the metro, you can still see areas of freezing rainfall in Atlanta. Again, that pink on our radar indicates freezing rainfall, though through much of the metro, ground temperatures are still not yet quite cold enough to get us down to the point where we're seeing widespread icy roadways. Up towards the northeast, still at times kind of heavy sleet, snow, freezing rain mix, a little bit of freezing rain mixed up into portions of the northwest corner of the state, and then otherwise just rainfall. As we go through the next couple hours, again, we will continue to accumulate rain and freezing rain and yes, ice across a good portion of North Georgia, especially those counties up towards the northeast. We could see ice accumulation totals we've already picked up in some spots close to 1/4 of an inch, and we could see additional ice accumulation on top of that, especially through the next couple hours until about 9 or 10 o'clock, where temperatures will start to warm back up. We've got that weather impact alert in place for today and tomorrow as we track that possibility of ice and the roadways and the colder air that moves in tonight. bitter cold as we move into Tuesday morning. Actual air temperatures are down into the teens and the single digits to start off the day on Tuesday, and we don't really recover. It's going to be cold through the entire week with high temperatures only in the 30s and 40s and lows in the teens and the 20s.